How do I fix Windows Update? That's a question we've heard a lot over the past couple of years as Windows 10 has done its deed to Windows Update. There are times when Windows Update just doesn't work, seems to get hung up, doesn't download or install what it's supposed to download and install. There are things to try, and I'll run through some of those options. How do I fix Windows Update? Windows Update can get confused or stuck. I'll review ways to fix Windows Update, including what I refer to as the nuclear option. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Question. I returned from vacation and found that Windows Update would not download any of 90 available updates, even though it sat for many hours saying downloading, nothing was coming. I eventually used the Windows Readiness program and was able to get 15 or so downloaded and installed, but trying the next group again, it is not downloading anything. There's no error message, just no action at all. While it works well most of the time, problems with Windows Update can be very frustrating. There's often no specific fix for whatever specific situation you're faced with, and other than keep trying or let it run, neither of which helps in many cases. Fortunately, Microsoft has added a troubleshooter and also outlined what I'll call the nuclear option, resetting Windows Update completely. Regardless of the problem, if it involves Windows Update, I suggest you give this a try. Windows 10. Start with the troubleshooter. In Windows 10, click on the Start menu and type Troubleshooter to search for the available troubleshooters. Click on Troubleshoot Settings when it appears. In the resulting window, look for Windows Update in the right-hand pane. You may need to scroll down to find it. Click on Run the Troubleshooter to let Windows attempt to diagnose and fix any problems it detects. If it resolves your issue, wonderful. But with software being as complex as it is, I don't expect the troubleshooter to work in 100% of all cases. If it didn't resolve your issue, or your edition of Windows 10 does not yet include the troubleshooter, it's time to reset. A few notes before we proceed. Number 1. Following the instructions below incorrectly, heck, perhaps even following them correctly, could damage your Windows installation. I strongly recommend that you take a complete image backup prior to performing these steps and be prepared to restore that image backup should something go wrong. Something shouldn't go wrong, but an image backup will protect you should I be wrong about something not going wrong. Number 2. By following the instructions below or downloading and using the scripts provided by either Microsoft or myself, you are assuming complete responsibility for the results. For all I know, there's something special about your machine that I cannot predict or account for. While it's certainly not the intent, the instructions and/or scripts could render your computer unbootable. Once again, your best defense is the previous note number 1. Number 3, don't just click and run on any of the scripts mentioned below. Instead, download the file by right-clicking and saving it to a location on your computer. You'll run those scripts from within an administrative PowerShell or command prompt. Since these are text files, you can examine their contents at will. Note that since they are considered executable files, your security software may need to be told to allow the download. Number 4, line wrapping. Since text can sometimes be wrapped to accommodate your display width, if a command is listed with no spaces between its lines, command, new line, more stuff, they're meant to be typed on a single line with a space between the text. In the example above, you would type command space more stuff, followed by the enter key. If the commands have a blank line between them, command 1, blank line, command 2, they're two distinct commands, each entered on its own and each followed by enter. Next, Microsoft's script for Windows 10. Microsoft has a knowledge base article, Windows Update Additional Resources, that includes a section titled, How do I reset Windows Update components? This section begins with a PowerShell script that you can download and run. Unfortunately, it's not mentioned that the script appears to need administrative privileges. Simply right-clicking on the downloaded file and clicking on Run in PowerShell will briefly flash a window which the script runs, but fails due to lack of privileges. As a result, the steps to run the script after downloading it actually are 1. Open PowerShell as administrator. In the Start menu, scroll down to locate Windows PowerShell. Click on that to expand it, then right-click on the newly exposed Windows PowerShell in the submenu and click on Run as Administrator. 2. Type the command get-execution policy, followed by the Enter key. Windows will print a one-word policy, most commonly restricted. Note this, as you'll need to type it in later. 3. Enter the following. Set execution policy -execution policy bypass, followed by Enter. 4. Change directory to the folder containing the downloaded script. This will probably be your downloads folder. Do this by typing cd/users/login-name/downloads, followed by Enter, where login name is replaced with your Windows login name. 5. Type the name of the downloaded script, followed by Enter. Reset-windowsupdate.ps1. 6. After the script runs, enter the following. Set-execution policy -execution policy policy, followed by Enter, and where policy is the policy displayed returned in step 2 above. 7. Reboot your machine. Hopefully, this will correct your issues with Windows Update. In theory, this script includes the steps listed below. If you're not running Windows 10 or you just want to carefully execute the steps on your own, you can do so. Finally, fix Windows Update manually. The steps and scripts below support Windows 7, 8.1, and 10. If you're running Windows XP or Vista, the Microsoft articles includes a few additional steps interspersed. Run command prompt as administrator. All of the steps that follow require administrative privileges. It's not enough that your login account be administrator. You need to run the Windows command prompt as administrator for those privileges to be in effect. In the Start menu, locate the Windows System heading and click on it. Then right-click on Command Prompt. Click on More if the resulting submenu includes that, and then on Run as Administrator. This will open an instance of Command Prompt with the administrative access required for what follows. Stop services. First, we'll stop several Windows services. Type the following into the command prompt, each line followed by Enter. Net stop bits, net stop WUAUSERV, or download and run stopservices.cmd. Don't worry if some of the services report an error that they're not running. Delete download manager files. Next, we'll delete a set of files related to the download manager. Del space quote %all users profile %\application data /Microsoft /network /downloader /QMGR star.dat quote, or download and run delete-qmgr-files.cmd. Reset software distribution and reset services. Microsoft recommends you perform this step only if running through these instructions without this step did not resolve the problem. Several command line commands. What Microsoft doesn't mention is that the first two commands will fail if they've been run before, meaning that if the backup folder system root software distribution.back already exists, or the backup folder system root system32 catroot2.back exists, the rename will fail. If that happens, do not proceed until you have removed the pre-existing .back folders manually. Since system root is typically /Windows, look for /Windows /software distribution.back and /Windows /system32 catroot2.back, and either rename them to something else or delete them. You did take that image backup, right? Here's a batch file that includes those commands, but also pauses after the rename to give you an opportunity to abort. Reset software distribution.cmd. Re-register DLLs. Enter the following commands exactly. Several reg server 32 invocations. Or download and run register-dlls.cmd. You will have to click an OK button for each one. In addition, several will fail. As unnerving as that may seem, it's okay. Not every system is configured the same way, and thus not every DLL will be present. Reset the network. Reset network components with the following command: netsh space winsock space reset, or download and run resetnetwork.cmd. Restart services. Now we restart the services we stopped earlier. Net space start space bits, net space start space WUAU-SERV, or download and run startservices.cmd. Finally, reboot. Naturally, much of what we've done will require a reboot to take final effect. What did we just do? After all that mumbo-jumbo, you're probably wondering what you just did, be it manually or via a script. The best analogy I can come up with is clearing your browser cache. Just as your web browser tries to avoid multiple downloads and generally speed up your browsing by keeping many things in a cache on your machine's hard disk, Windows Update does something similar. Rather than reanalyzing, slowing down your system, and perhaps even downloading information repeatedly, it caches much of what it learns about your system on disk. And, just like the browser, sometimes the cache can get confused. We've simply cleared out the cache and reset a few things to known states so Windows Update can start with a clean slate. To be clear, browser caches and the Windows Update cache are completely unrelated to one another. Just the concepts are similar. For links related to this article or leave a comment, visit askleo.com/21798. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.